Hello, it's John from Double Sleeved here, and we are on the 9th of June. It is Core 2021 spoiler time yet again. We've already had one video, we've got another video chock full of fantastic cards. Some reprints, I do my best to highlight which ones are reprints. I'm not always perfect at it. And some fantastic new cards. Some of these have not been released in English yet, so you've got translations. Appreciate MTG Goldfish for their translating ability. And then there is one that hasn't been translated, but I've got the physical rewrite on in English. So we're just going to kick straight off with Angelic Ascension. Again, some of these will or won't be perfect translations. For 1 and a white, it's an instant. Exile target creature or planeswalker its controller creates a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying. Two things here. Number one is white removal for 2, exiling, and a planeswalker. Very, very strong. Yes, you're giving a 4/4 white angel creature token, but could be the lesser of two evils. Secondly, if you played a 1 mana 1/1 turn 1, that when it is removed, you get a benefit, you're just making yourself a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying. Turn 2. I think that's very powerful. I think it's a great start. What a start to the video. Look at this card. Okay, another white card. Faith's Fetters. 3 and a white for an enchantment aura. Enchant permanent. When Faith's Fetters enters the battlefield, you gain 4 life. Nice. Enchanted permanent can't attack or block, and its activated abilities can't be activated unless they're mana abilities. So, bit of work needs doing as to around how effective that second part could be. But we know any of these kind of pacify style effects are very powerful. Gaining 4 life could also have some significant benefit depending on what deck you're running it in. But yeah, I like it. I like adding more mechanics to cards. Leaping Augur. For 3 and a red, it's a star 4 human shaman. With trample, Leaping Augur's power is equal to the number of instant sorcery cards in your graveyard. When Leaping Augur enters the battlefield, discard up to 2 cards, then draw that many cards. This is such a powerful card. Mono red has gained some cards out of this set for sure. This card, when coupled with another one I'll show you later on, I feel like definitely within your limited formats. But hey, standard, it's 4 toughness, and if you've got 4 or 5 instant or sorcery cards in there on turn 4, then which you could well do, especially if you're discarding 2 cards. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Love it. I think it is very powerful. Equally in like your cycling decks and things, this could be powerful. So yeah, big fan of that. Revitalize, I believe, is a reprint for 1 and a white. You gain 3 life. It's an instant. You gain 3 life. You draw a card. Quick card draw. Quick life gain. A bit of utility. Not the most mana efficient, but it's pretty good if you desperately need that draw and a little bit of life gain. Seasoned Hallowblade is a 3/1 for 1 and a white. Human warrior. Discard a card. Tap Seasoned Hallowblade. It gains indestructible until end of turn. It's a way of keeping that around. It's one of those kinds of possibly useful defender, especially if you need to fill your graveyard with cards. A 2 mana 3/1. Yeah, okay. Rewind, a reprint that I'm quite fond of. 2 blue for an instant counterspell. Untap up to 4 lands. Doesn't have to be your lands, but chances are you're going to want them to be your lands. In essence, it pays for itself, basically. It's just a useful card. You untap 4 lands. To be honest with you, you pay for this if you've got lands that are more than 1 mana, like a Nyx Lotus or something, or whatever you may have that generates multiple. Then untapping lands, you could even benefit the mana from it. The fact that it's a counterspell means it's going to be probably on your opponent's turn, and therefore chances are not quite as useful to have those lands open. But hey, if you're playing a flash deck, this kind of card is, it could be really powerful. Spiked Megalodon. A 5/7 for 5 blue shark. Love a shark. Hexproof. Can't beat that. Whenever spiked Megalodon attacks, scry 1. Not as powerful of effects. Scrying is very useful, but by turn 7 or potentially sooner if you've ramped a bit, not sure it's going to give you a huge amount. The Hexproof is pretty good, but definitely not a game-breaking card. Another one, Tide Skimmer, 2/3 for 3 and a blue, is a Drake with flying. Whenever you attack with 2 or more creatures with flying, draw a card. Now we've seen a few effects previously with 2 or more creatures attacking. It's tricky. It's very tricky to do. Yeah, maybe in a flying deck it might, you know, blue white flyers or whatever, it might work. But for 4 mana, it's gonna take you a bit of time. Just for 1 card draw, I don't know. But hey, we don't mind blue flyers. This is the card I couldn't get an English translation from, so I'm going to flick over to here where I've got it written up. It says Archdemon's Vessel. Whether that's right or wrong, I don't know. It's a 1/1 for 1, which you can see there, and it is uncommon, which I think is really interesting. It has lifelink, okay. So straight away, a 1/1 for 1 with lifelink. The killer on this card, though, when Archdemon's Vessel enters the battlefield, if it entered from your graveyard or was cast from your graveyard, exile it. If you do, create a 5/5 black demon creature token with flying. Now, I've not gone through the number of recursion cards out there, but there are so many different cards that you could use this with. I mean, I'm just thinking straight away, Lurrus. Forget its companion nerfing that's happened. We're talking straight Lurrus. Pulls 4 of these out, 4 turns in a row, 4/5/5 black demon creature tokens with flying. Plus, you can just start off with a 1/1 with lifelink just as a blocker to gain 1 life and to stop an attack. I think this card, uncommon as well, very powerful. There's a couple of really powerful cards. I personally think this could be a key card for this next standard meta. Carrion Grub, a 0/5 for 3 and a black insect. When Carrion Grub gets plus X0, where X is the greatest power among creature cards in your graveyard, when it enters the battlefield, mill 4 cards. That's a way of getting cards into your graveyard, like Archdemon's Vessel that we just saw. For 4 mana, we have already seen loads of cycling cards that you can just send straight into the graveyard with huge power. This card on turn 4 drops down. It could be an 8. It could be an 8/5 or whatever. I think that is a pretty nifty card. Played correctly, could be a key one. A bit expensive in terms of like speed, but 4 mana, get that out. Why not? Yeah, I think it's really good. Malefic Scythe, great artwork. For 2, so 1 black, an artifact equipment. Malefic Scythe enters the battlefield with a soul counter on it. Equipped creature gets 1/1 for each soul counter on it. When equipped creature dies, put a soul counter on it. And equips for 1. Yeah, sacrifice decks may benefit from this. Just get this out there, attach it to your cat, sacrifice your cat, it grows, blah blah blah, over and over again. It's a bit mana intensive doing that with 1 to equip, but hey, before you know it, this could be quite the significant sized scythe and you're swinging in. Yeah, it's okay. Necromentia, a 1 black sorcery. Choose a card name other than a basic land card name. Search target opponent's graveyard, hand, and library for a number of cards with that name and exile them. That player shuffles their library, then creates a 2/2 black zombie creature token for each card exiled from their hand this way. So, what's this card doing? It is basically just I'm gonna play 4 of these in my main deck or in my sideboard, and when I know there's a card that's absolutely fundamental to the way your deck works, I'm just gonna get rid of it straight away. Play this turn 2 or 3. And I'm just going to say whatever card it is, whether it's in your graveyard, your hand, or the library. It doesn't work, though, on the battlefield. I'm just going to get rid of it. which I think is stupid powerful. Just whatever it may be that card relies on, you just get rid of it. So there you go. It's just crazy that it's just a card name. If you play this first, you can get rid of their Necromancers too. Mental. Yeah, very, very useful. I like the effect. Think it's great. Maybe it's a reprint. Don't think it is. Anyway, great card. Pestilent Haze for 1 black, another 3 mana black sorcery. Choose one. All creatures get -2/-2 to end of turn. Remove 2 loyalty counters from each Planeswalker. Like the Planeswalker attack, I think it's great. I think that's really useful. We're going to see Planeswalkers continue to be fairly prevalent in most meta. All creatures get -2/-2. You've got to be pretty confident with what you're doing. How many 3 toughness creatures can you get out there? We've seen a couple that are pretty big, so I think this is a good board wipe for 3. Yeah, I like it. In black, yep. So there was a series of cards for each Planeswalker release. I think we've already been through a few of the Teferi ones, but I think I've got Chandra and the new Planeswalker, which I can't remember the name of, which we'll get onto in a minute. So Bolt Hound is a 2/2 for 2 and a red elemental dog. Straight away, we love elementals. We all know that. Elementals are sick. Dog has replaced Hound. Fab. Great. There's some dog synergy in here. Haste. Yep. Whenever Bolt Hound attacks, other creatures you control get +1/0 until end of turn. Fine. Dog synergy. Get me a dog deck, especially elementals. Cultivate. Yep. Fab reprint. Like it in standard now. One thing green was missing was ramp. Clearly they felt needed a bit more. So 2 and a green. Search your library for up to 2 basic lands. Reveal those cards and put 1 onto the battlefield and 1 into your hand. Onto the battlefield tap, that is. Shuffle your library. Yeah, solid turn 3 ramp. Is it as good as Uro? Probably not, if I'm honest with you. But it's good and it's mono green. So, talking of good and mono green, this sick card, Elder Gargaroth, a 6/6 for 5. That's 3 green for a beast. Continuing with the same subtypes as in Ikoria. Vigilance, Reach, Trample. Love me a keyword. Vigilance, Reach, Trample. When it attacks or blocks, yeah, not just attacks, or blocks, so that's could be attacking and then blocking, because it's got vigilance and reach and trample. Bear all that in mind. And we've just seen a big ramp card come out, and we know that green ramps like crazy. Whenever Elder Gargaroth attacks or blocks, choose one, create a 3/3 beast creature token. So you've just gained a 3/3. Gain 3 life. Okay. Draw a card. So I can attack, draw a card, block, create a 3/3, or draw a card, or gain life if that's what I really want, which is unusual, but hey, maybe you need that. Such a powerful card. I can't imagine what green deck wouldn't want to play this card. I'm going to be honest with you, unless there's some crazy synergy that it needs specific cards for. That sort of card is mental. Fungal Rebirth for 2 and a green. It's an instant. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. If a creature died this turn, create 2 1/1 green Saproling to creature tokens. I have a Saproling commander deck and think that they're hilarious. Just absolutely love it. So love seeing any Saproling cards. Love that it's in standard, because why not? Yeah, look. Return a card in green from your graveyard to your hand. Permanent card. And whack a couple of tokens out there. Beautiful. Absolutely. Pride Malkin. A 2/1 for 2 and a green. It's a cat. Dogs and cats. All about this. When Pride Malkin enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. There's quite a bit of counter synergy going on. Each creature you control with 1/1 counter on it has trample. There's going to be, there's a bit of that counter work going on. We've seen a bit of that in Ikoria as well. So, yeah, trampoly, benefit, buffy kind of card. A reprint, Law Scale Coatl. A 2/2 for 1 green blue. Snake, whenever you draw a card, put a 1/1 counter on law scale Codal. Because it's Simic, we've seen a bit of green card draw, but blue card draw is crazy. We know that you can ramp counters like mad onto a card like this if that's what you're doing. Whenever you draw a card, draw 4 cards, put 4/4 counters on it. Yeah, could be a good card, could be a key one. Maze Mind Tome. It's a 2 mana artifact. You tap it and put a page counter on it, and then scry. Or you pay 2, tap it, put a page counter on it, draw a card. When you have 4 or more page counters, exile it. If you do, gain 4 life. It's kind of everything and nothing. The scry, you can play it for 2, scry 1. You can scry 4 times and then gain 4 life. Yeah, fine. What I like about it is it's giving card draw to other colours, but does every colour necessarily need it? Yes, card draw is incredibly powerful, but you know, paying 2 and then following that up by paying another 2 just to draw a card, don't know. I don't know if it's needed. It's fairly decent, maybe late game in terms of, you know, getting a few cards drawn, but I don't know. Radiant Fountain, a land. When Radiant Fountain enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life, and then you can tap and add a generic. Yeah, okay. Yeah, life gain, add generic, fine. Not great, but fine. Basri Ket. This is the Planeswalker we were talking about, that I said is new. 3 mana Planeswalker. We've got to be so careful here. A brand new Planeswalker for 3 mana. It's got 3 loyalty and a +1, so it becomes 4 loyalty the turn it's played potentially. Put a 1/1 counter on up to 1 target creature. It gains indestructible to end of turn. Yeah, good. Can be done at instant speed. No, what am I talking about? Can't be done at instant speed. You know what I mean. Indestructible and a 1/1 counter. We've seen 1/1 counters. Fine. -2 whenever 1 or more non-token creatures attack this turn. Create that many 1/1 white soldier creature tokens that are tapped and attacking. So great for go wide. And lastly, if you can get it up to 6, you get an emblem with, at the beginning of your combat on your turn, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token, then put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. So I don't know how big that last one is. It's pretty good in terms of buffing everything, creating another creature, but I think bringing it down, getting it to 4 loyalty, giving something a counter and indestructible, useful, and then whacking it up again to 5 loyalty maybe, or just attacking with big cards, like with your wide strategy in white and gaining soldiers. Yeah, could get out of hand quite quickly. Basri's Acolyte, these are the Basri cards. We didn't see the Chandra cards in the end, but we will do in a minute. Is a 2/3, 4 mana Cat Cleric, so 2 white, lifelink. When it enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures you control, so more counter synergy. Basri's Lieutenant, 3/4 for 3 and a white. Human Knight, so another knight for the old knight collection. It's got Vigilance, which I like, and Protection from Multicolor. So we know we've seen Protection come back into standard here in a significant way. Multicolor, interesting. When Basri's Lieutenant enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control, so more of that. And whenever Basri's Lieutenant or another creature you control dies, if it had a 1/1 counter on it, create a 2/2 white knight creature token with Vigilance. So what we're seeing here is a bit of synergy with Basri and with the rest of Basri's cards. Lastly, Basri's Solidarity is a 1 white, 1 and a white sorcery. Put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. So again, you've gone wide, you've whacked tokens on it, you've got your knight out. When it dies and everything else dies, you're getting more knights, and if you get that draw, if you get that play, it could be really good. Here we go. Chandra, Heart of Fire. 3 red. 5 mana for a 5 loyalty Planeswalker with a, which is interesting because it's a +1, discard your hand, then exile the top 3 cards of your library. You can play them till the end of turn. Or it deals 2 damage to any target. Eventually, when you get to 9, which is like 4 turns later, search your graveyard and library for any number of red instant or sorcery cards, exile them, then shuffle your library. You may cast them this turn. Add 6 mana. Red mana. So, for me, what does this card do? It's a 5 mana, 2 damage a turn card. Basically. Or it's a top out. I've run out of cards in my hand, and I need to, almost like Experimental Frenzy style, I need to just play some cards. We'll see. Now, this card's dirty. Mono red does not need this card in it. It's good enough as it is. This card is just silly. 6/6 for 5 and a red for Chandra's Incinerator. It's an elemental, which is just beautiful. We love elementals. This spell costs X less to cast, where X is the total number of non-combat damage dealt to your opponent this turn. So what you're telling me here is I can cast this 6/6 for 1 red. As long as I've dealt non-combat damage worth 5 to the opponent. So if I play a shock for 1 mana, that deals 2 damage. I pay 2 shocks for 2 mana. I can play this for 2 mana. Mental. And it's got trample. And just in case that wasn't enough, whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, Charged Incinerator deals that much damage to target creature or planeswalker that player controls. Sick, twisted, dirty, nasty card. I love it. Chandra's Magmut. Love it. 2 mana, 2/2. 2/2 for 2. Elemental Dog. Tap. Chandra's Magmut deals 1 damage to target player or planeswalker. See? Bit of synergy there. Chandra's Piling. It's a 1/3 for 1 and a red. Elemental Lizard. Whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, Chandra's Piling gets +1/0 and gains double strike until end of turn. Double strike and +1. Just every time you deal non-combat damage. Again, synergy's crazy. Okay, big reprint here. Massacre Wurm. It's a 6/5 for 3 black, black, black. Worm. When Massacre Wurm enters the battlefield, creatures your opponents control get -2/-2 until end of turn. Whenever a creature an opponent control dies, that player loses 2 life. It comes down, it wipes Bazari's +1/+1, 1/1 white army out and probably kills him in the same turn. Just a great reprint. It's a lovely card. It's fun. It's clear. It's directional. It's a big threat anyway. Yeah, great reprint. Solemn Simulacrum is a 2/2 for 4 artifact creature to Golem. Reprint. When Solemn Simulacrum enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic land card and put that card onto the battlefield tapped and shuffle your library. When it dies, you draw a card. Yeah, just useful in some decks that need that ramp. You know, your blues, potentially your reds, and yeah, just good to fetch a card. It's also a 2/2, which is okay. And then it draws a card when you die. So, yeah, lovely. Jolrail. Umwonvalui. Recluse. I wish I could pronounce any of these words. Apologies for my terrible pronunciation. It's a 1/2 for 1 and a green. Legendary creature, human druid. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 2/2 green cat creature token. Bit of green card draw going on here. Synergy. For 4 green. Until end of turn, creatures you control have base power and toughness XX, where X is the number of cards in your hand. So with her, you want to get your card draw. You want to pull as many cards into your hand as possible, and you're doing that each turn. So if you get any instants that you can do that with, or potentially with your big crazy 6/6 blocker that draws you a card every time it blocks, you draw your second card on your opponent's turn. You're creating creatures, and then you're giving them a big buff. See the Truth for 1 and a blue. It's a sorcery. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand. The rest at the bottom of your library in a random order. If this spell wasn't cast from your hand, put them all into your hand instead. Like that. Recursive sorcery cards are out there. So definitely an opportunity to be played. Like it. Selfless Guard Dog. Look at its face. What is it wearing? It's a 1-mana 1/1 dog. Sacrifice this guard dog if you could bring yourself to do so. Another target creature gains indestructible until end of turn. It's sacrificing itself for a creature. I love it. It's adorable. It's a great little mechanic. Fine. 1/1 for 1. What a silly card. Siege Striker. It's a 1/1 for 2 and a white human soldier. Double strike. Whenever Siege Striker attacks, you may tap any number of untapped creatures you control, and Siege Striker gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each creature tapped this way. Interesting. So there are cards like that. Silly jellyfish that untaps itself. So potentially could just keep going. A big go wide strategy with lots of 1/1s. Make this big and double strike. Give it indestructible with the guard dog. There are some synergies to be had here for sure. For people who are a little bit smarter than I am. Stormwing Presence for, I say, 3/3 for 3 blue. Another elemental. We are in love with the elementals at the moment. This spell costs 2 and a blue, less to cast if you've cast an instant or sorcery spell this turn, which means it would be 1 and a blue. That's right, 1 and a blue for 3/3 flying prowess that when it enters it scries 2. Yep. Play an instant spell for 1. Or a sorcery spell. Smack this down for 2. Turn 3. Flash decks will love this card. Village Rites. Another black card. It's a common. It's an instant, and it's 1 mana to cast. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature. Draw 2 cards. I think that's very powerful. I love it at instant speed. Played when you're blocking with a card that you don't care about. There you go. 1 mana, draw 2 cards. Love it. Waker of Waves. Not sure that must be its name now. I've seen a number of different names of this card. Is a 7/7 for 5 blue. Whale. Creatures your opponent control get -1/0. For 1 and a blue, discard Waker of Waves. Look at the top 2 cards of your library. Put one of them in your hand and the other in your graveyard. That's its functionality, really. But we said earlier, we're looking for putting cards into the graveyard so that we can get our whatever card it was that needs a big power creature in the graveyard. Waker of Waves, there you go. And we're back to the start. There you go. So, I don't know about you, but that's the second video where the power level seems particularly good. Definitely some fluff in there, but I'm liking some of the reprints and I'm really liking some of the new cards. I think we could see standard change quite significantly. Obviously some of the meta is going to benefit a lot from these cards. What do you think? What is your favourite card so far? What are we missing? What could we do with? There will be more videos as more spoilers come out. We also know that Double Masters release spoilers will happen at some point soon too, so there'll be plenty of those videos. Just dead excited. I don't know about you, really excited about this set. I feel like this core set has had some good investment in it. Really appreciate you guys listening and watching along. Share your love in the comments below. Like the video, it really helps. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed and share it with your friends. If you want to order any Core 2021 or any Double Masters or anything like that, you can pre-order it at doublesleeved.co.uk, which is our company, just a little company we've set up. Really appreciate it if you could support us that way too. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.